Hi, this is Slimedog,
Topo,
and Nelstone,
and today we are playing Gems of War again. But
well, this is a review of the new update.
Yes. Recently, a couple of days ago, they released a big new update for the UI, and a lot of changes when it comes to the layout and some of the graphics, the iconography, things like that. And it's a little bit of a mixed bag. We wanted to sort of go through it, unpack it, and talk about what we all like and what we don't like. So the starting thing that we're looking at right here would be the main screen, the map screen.
Yeah, it's definitely a radical departure from the previous interface. The interface previously had all kinds of imagery that made it feel very inclusive and tied together pretty well. And my initial thoughts on this interface was it departs a little bit from it. That was my first take. So I've kind of gotten accustomed to it, though, even in the last 2 days of playing it, to really appreciate the speed of it as a trade-off for having the graphics of before. So
yeah, well, it's definitely a trade-off in a lot of things. The old layout definitely was more medieval themed.
This is old graphics, I say, right?
The same,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
this
it is.
That's what I keep going to this because
You're hopping around a lot. What are you doing?
I can't loop around. I used to be able to loop my bottom menu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now it takes me to this menu instead, so that's throwing me off on that one.
This one has a much more crisp feel, and a lot of it, not everything, but a lot of it is more readable. What it sacrifices is the overall pervasive fantasy motif on the other one.
Yeah.
A lot of the theming, and a lot of the kind of card feel of the artwork and things like that.
Like, here's cards that you're looking at, as opposed to previously they were cards, but
Well, previously they looked like magic cards. They had borders and framing and like a layout that was very similar to a card game, and it was easy to think about your guys as a deck, right?
Right.
So much.
Yes.
And that really appeals to me. I like cards. I like card games.
Yes.
So that was really a selling point. Now they don't really have the same card feel.
No, it's a different card game, maybe. I don't know.
Well, it's less of a card game and more of now it's like troops more than cards. I don't know, but I will say this: there's more of the art is visible on the cards,
which is
now.
fun because you can actually see full renderings of these characters that we only would get to pop up at the chest pages.
Yeah, the load screens.
Chest pages, you could see them.
Sometimes you could catch glimpses of it in the other types of screens, but not in the cards themselves. And now you get beautiful, like, it's a lot more of the actual artwork.
And they're very crisp.
Yeah, I like their decision to go with full art cards. I think that, it does take away from the motif previously. The old cards felt like they belonged within this game because the whole interface lined up as well. But I do like. I'm really beginning to like these cards. I like the fact that the magic's on the front of the cards now.
Yeah, that was a big perk.
I like that. I like that the information is much. To me, the information is relayed much better on these new cards.
Yeah.
So I think that's a positive.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The other thing they have is a lot of the. It's just a lot more readable overall. Like they've got before. Sometimes, like go back to the map screen, the kingdom levels and things like that.
Right.
The trade-off is they took away the bar that filled up that would tell you how close you were to the next level.
I missed that bar.
That's kind of unpleasant. And I find the new little icon for your level is a little bit kind of amateurish and jarring. It doesn't keep the fantasy theme at all.
But
doesn't
it's more
look as
legible.
Yes, it doesn't look as integrated as before.
It's more legible, but I like the other. Yeah, I like the other. And there are areas where was one of the areas? Well, the shop was one. Areas that have mixed the imagery. Like here, this is the old interface for Glory, and this is what it used that it looked like. But not like these guys are the new ones.
Yeah, the new resource icons I think are a big step up. I think they're cool.
And you really like them. I find them difficult. I mean, once I get more familiar with them, I'll probably see them better, but they're much harder for me to read. I could see a major trait stone. I knew it was a major trait stone. I knew I was looking at a runic. Now I have to squint. Again, this is the difference between you and me. And for example, on the here, seeing if I hit it. Yeah, like I can't read the levels. I can't read the names
on the team banners. They really. I'm gonna assume they're gonna fix this because like the names of the teams and the team scores are nearly illegible on certain backgrounds, on many backgrounds. I'd like them to fix that.
And on this page, I have a hard time. And your suggestion was frame the whole banner in white because I have a hard time seeing which page I'm on.
When you move with the cursor, I don't know if you can tell it.
Yeah,
when you move with the cursor,
subtle.
it just like slightly highlights one of the choices at the
right.
bottom.
So say I'm looking up top to where I want to go, and I push on the bottom and have to look up and down to see if I've gone to the right one before. Yeah, this is hard to read.
That could really use
one thing on that page. If you go back there for a moment,
sure.
If you if you highlight arena, go to arena.
Into the square.
Yeah, well, if you look at arena, the square right now, this
looks like it's over on
It's above dungeon.
Yeah,
and that's like I started an arena match earlier. Now I thought I was just going to pillage in a dungeon, and my arena started up and I couldn't back out. I'm like, oh wait, so we drafted a deck and it's ready to play. But that kind of that's a subtle thing that could probably get adjusted at some point because that was a little minor thing.
So in here too, I like the big spanning artwork. Those cool full-length banners look really cool.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of a UI fail as far as like
being able to tell what card you're on, as it were.
Right. And that's
easy
to fix stuff that I hope they do resolve soon.
Guild and Guild Wars
unchanged. Well, Guild, yeah, these guys haven't really changed at all.
One thing that I saw that was removed were the defensive sliders in PvP.
Oh yeah, you can't like manually assign
yes,
for PvP.
Yes.
Yep, that was
that.
Here, if you go back to if you go back to the PvP. And go to set up a defensive team.
I'm trying.
And see, you can see.
You can't actually. You can put in there, but
see a box full of sliders right there.
They kind of slid out, which is sort of a shame. Now the thing, I don't know. Once they get this to the point where it's all.
Is it still recording?
Once they get it to the point where it's all unified, where they're using all the new icons and all the new layout and none of the old, I think that'll be a little bit better. I think you'll have that uniformity then. Part of the issue right now is the half and half. The inconsistency of it, I think, is kind of riling some folks. But I don't know.
Yeah, I will tell you, I have seen a ton of hate about this, and I think that's unfair to just jump on this hate bandwagon and say how horrible this is, because people worked on this. This is somebody's job, and I don't care if it doesn't. And initially, I'm uncomfortable a little bit with parts of it. Like I said, parts that are illegible for me just because I don't have the best eyesight. The banners here where I can't tell how much. I'd like to know if I just need to pop over to Forest of Thorns and trade up a couple people to get it to the next level. And I can't do that easily without going in and checking out. Wait, which one is it? The Kingdom. There we go. And then from here, I can see how close. And that's a lot of work just to do what I used to be able to just look at the banners and see.
Formerly, you could tell at a glance.
It was right there.
Yeah.
That said, the pictures are very pretty. The card feel is a different kind of card feel, and I don't know if that's just because I got so used to. We've been playing this for years. So.
I find the new card feel to look a little bit futuristic even, but also very kind of crisp and professional. There's a lot of data that's kind of legible. We still don't have the kingdom of each of the troops listed on the cards for some reason.
Yes, thank you.
That's
when will that happen?
Big question mark.
But at any rate, I would like to finish, and that is, I'm thinking that given a little time, I'll get used to it, and some of the tiny tweaks like we mentioned, like the bars filling and the being able to read the backgrounds and highlighting whatever banner you're on. Yeah, it would be very helpful if we could tell what kingdom. These guys, okay, let's pick somebody. It took us a while to figure out which one was what. The 19 was
the level
of the card, versus the
5 stars is legendary.
Is what?
It's the rarity, which lines up with the border color.
Yes.
The mana cost is still on the side. We've got the magic level is in the middle now, or it's down
Over
It's
there.
not permanently visible. When you're actually playing, it only shows up when you've got enough to do it, sort of like it did before.
Right.
But it's got all the stats in the same area now, instead of putting the one stat randomly up in the top corner.
Right,
Yes.
right.
And I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I do appreciate how everything is cleaned up. And,
Also liked the flames when you're set on fire. Is very pretty.
Oh, the new
Disease
animation there,
looks the
yep.
same.
A
I think
lot of them
pretty
look the same,
much.
but some of them look different. Stun looks pretty good.
I don't know yesterday I was trying to cast and I'm like, I've got all my mana, I'm fully charged, why can't I do the spell? And then a couple turns later I unsilenced. So apparently it was silenced, but I took a screenshot because I don't know what the silence looks like now.
Well,
so we'd have to take a look at the screenshot to even see what that was.
another thing I like about the new layout is if you look at it, it actually puts the magic level on the cards themselves. So
I like that too. That's good information.
Yeah, it's pretty helpful. So
I think love it or hate it. I think that you really should give it a fair shake and come in here and play around with it because
I
think just screaming, "Oh, it's evil!" Really?
Yeah, people don't like change. I
can understand
like this,
the change. This part. Oh yes, we can search by multiple colors now.
Right?
They got our letter.
How long has this been incoming now?
We have been wanting this forever. Now, if we could just do search by 2 different types of magic or type human knights, for example.
Creature types, if you're doing daily tasks, that'd be kind of helpful.
Because we do build decks based on types of tasks that we get put up there.
Yeah.
We also have multitudes and 505 if you want to. Some of our requests, we would like to be able to resort our teams so that we don't have to actually go through and rebuild them in a proper order.
Yeah, that's been something we've been asking for
quite
years.
some time.
Yeah.
Of course, we've got over 30 decks, so I mean, right, 32. So
check out the way they did the banners now. This is I think
this
a big
is
layout.
fun.
Instead of actually writing it all out long form.
Oh my
they have
gosh!
it just with icons.
+2 to brown and +2 to red, but negative to this, and it was like that's a lot of reading. This way, you can just flip right through.
This is
excellent.
Choice.
Yeah,
and it's got the name of the kingdom
and see,
there.
this has the frame on it, so this does the white frame around the banner.
You know, you're right. It does. So my new thought is,
I think it's just
just
little
a bug.
tweaks.
I think it's just a straight up bug that screen was missing the border. And once they get that fixed, that'll be...
Yeah, that'll be one little thing. Yeah, because obviously they have the knowledge.
Oh, the income. Your income shows up in the top corner now.
Oh no, souls. We used to have to go into the troop deck to see how many souls we had. Mm-hmm. Now that's right up there in the top corner.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and your income per hour. That's kind of cool.
They changed the icon for gems, for diamonds, so it doesn't look just like a gem anymore.
Yeah, and gems. Yeah.
Gems is it's similar, but it's not the same, but it's similar.
It has changed a little bit, right? Yeah.
The
and
glory,
Glory's got those nifty wings.
Actually, all the new stats, even the money one, I think they're all improvements overall.
Yeah.
So
they're
there you go. I guess it kind of boils down to make your own decisions, and if you like it, great.
And if you want to jump on a bandwagon of bleeding eyes and crying, fine, whatever. But I think make up your own mind and have fun with the game. We are here to have fun.
I want to jump on that bandwagon.
I like the game of fun.
Yes.
And because that's why we come here and we'd like to. That's why our guild is, come on, have fun and invest if you want, and don't invest a lot of time if you don't have time. We're not going to kick you because you had to miss a week because you had an appendectomy or something silly.
So, real quick, what's your favorite part about the new update? Mine is searching for 2 colors.
Oh yeah. That's a great.
Yeah, it's hard to beat that. That's just such a big deal when searching for troops.
Yeah.
I think that's a really beneficial update.
Excellent.
I think for me, it's the speed and seamlessness of the UI. Everything moves very quickly.
It does.
I like at the end of battles when you're getting your spoils for victory and they swoop in very quickly.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoosh, 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 whoosh. I like that a lot.
It does seem to speed up the overall flow.
It does miss the pomp and circumstance of the previous interface, but I think this is an excellent step. I'm on the other side of the spectrum. I'm very, very happy with this update. It runs great. It looks great. It's jarring because we've been used to something so different
for so long.
Yeah.
We've been playing the other
This
style.
is a big switch, really, for a game. And
really
the fact that they were willing to take this is a big deal. A couple things I want to mention. I liked how, like, when you're in, like,
These are pretty now.
the battle screen, you can edit your team from there and not have to leave and go to troops.
Oh.
So, like, right before a battle, you can edit your team. It goes to edit, then it drops you back to the battle screen.
I hadn't realized
that's
that.
been though.
Well, no, you could.
Yes.
It would take you to the troop screen, and when you came back, it would take you back in the battle screen. But it did pull you all the way to troops, and had to load up the troop screen and stuff like
Oh,
that.
I see what you're saying. So
Yeah,
it doesn't do that now, is what you're saying?
It works differently now.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a little different. Like, you can go do a battle, select your troop, and then you can edit from there. And then it goes,
See, this one. I for so long have gone to the kingdom, and then 2 to the left to load up my Explorer, and now I have to hit to the right, and it's a very strange...
I think that's deliberate. I think that was probably
and see,
deliberate.
again, no framing.
Yeah, I think they'll probably change that. But I think they probably deliberately changed that to get people accustomed to the new interface.
Edit your deck.
Yep, but edit teams. And then...
Wait.
Square.
I can see the button.
And there you go.
But this
So
is
now,
the same.
well, now when you
took me
back
to
out, if
troops
you exit
before.
this, you're going to go back to here, the Drifting Sands. In the past, it would bring you back to the main screen.
Oh no, it
think
hasn't. No, not for me.
Well, either way, I do think.
I mean,
that
I think it did at one point. I think it used.
Yeah.
I think it used to.
There's a
I'm
bunch
with
of
you on
different-
that one because I
yeah.
recognize now that you say it. But
happened
because I do
somewhere.
this all the time,
Okay.
because I play with decks, and then somebody comes home and it's like, oh hey, look at all these souls, let's spend them all, and then I'm like, wait,
Oh wow,
but I needed to bend what?
that's different.
What's that?
Oh wait, no, go back. The I didn't know if they
Background banners
made
are
the,
very pretty. Yeah.
No, the deck title name's long again. Try to rename one of the decks.
Oh, here. But not the Soul Farm.
You have to get yourself a USB keyboard.
Yeah, really.
Why are you changing the Soul Farm?
You're just adding to it. No.
Okay, no, they didn't make our deck names big again.
Oh, you were just being hopeful.
I was. Well, I saw the other one that had our full-size name, but I think that's the same one that was legacied in from a million years ago. Now I'm afraid to change it.
Don't change anything.
Okay. Well, there you go. Anything
Are
else
you
to
gonna?
add?
Well, I was gonna do I'm gonna look here.
You had mentioned it, Topo. I noticed one thing in the menus. They, like you mentioned, they don't loop around. All the menus are now finite, and that's different. I don't mind it so much because
I like to be able to toggle
looping
around.
as well because it makes it easier because you don't have to go all the way back. So
Right.
I noticed that it's a difference. I don't know if I don't have a strong opinion on that either way. So.
Yeah.
I do. No, mainly because I do like to loop around, but you usually take the long way through, and I'm like, oh come on. Okay, so here's a background,
Just
by
for
the way.
minutes. Oh yeah, during the fights, you've got the full art background. You've got the full. Yeah, and some people like it.
That's what I
Some
wanted to
people don't.
show. Yeah, because like, what was it? It was more dark background. It was just a black background.
It was a solid back
Okay.
behind the board to make it a little bit higher contrast. On the other hand, I've never had a background where I find it difficult to see what colored gems I'm working with.
Yeah, I don't think this makes it difficult.
Yeah, and again, it's more of the actual illustrated artwork on the screen, less of the borders and trim stuff. So.
Oh, and here's this, by the way. But see, and this is where I get thrown. I have to actually read one runic earth trait stone to see that that's what.
I see the little ring around the bottom.
Yeah,
I know
see.
instantly it's a runic.
Yeah, but see, again, I think that maybe once I get more familiar, get used to seeing the new art.
I will give you this: the
art,
arcanes
the
are a
XP is
little
pretty.
bit more difficult to distinguish. The icons.
Oh, the
arcanes.
arcanes, yeah.
The combinations of colors sometimes they don't. Yeah, they're a little.
Yeah,
bit
sometimes
tricky.
hard to tell. I agree with that. Yeah.
These guys, yeah, okay, yeah.
I like the look.
They
I like
look
the detail.
neat. No, it's cool. I like the little image. I think is really fun. I like it, but it is a little more difficult for me to. It's a little illegible for me because my eyesight's just not as good as yours.
There you go.
2015. You've got me. I'm at.
Okay. So.
Do you think we've covered everything?
We've hit a lot of high points. So as far
I
as
just want to make
things
sure
we
that
noticed,
people
yeah.
see.
Yeah.
I mean, the kingdom, the map looks nice. The new, the artwork. I do like the artwork, and thank you to the people that worked on this because it is a free-to-play game.
Mm-hmm.
virtually, so.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're making boatloads of cash.
Well, obviously you can spend money to play, but you don't have to.
But yeah, I agree that overall I think this step, it may be 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but it's still 2 steps forward. Like net, we're ahead of where
Yes. Again, finally, they got our letter about being able to pick multiple colors for picking our troops.
Yeah.
Now, if we can just figure out our troop types, if we could do more than one of those, would be nifty.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I think once they smooth out a couple of the last little issues here and there,
this and that,
it's overall a net gain here.
Yeah, and I think
I
people
agree,
will calm down and stop being all feisty. I think people just like to read them about themselves.
Well, they can or not. It's up to them.
Yeah, I think this was an incredibly positive change. The core gameplay is still there. And if anything, it's faster to get to games, especially when you're trying to grind out trait stones.
Right, right.
So I'm very, very happy with the update. I'm really enjoying it so far. I like the crisp look. I like the clean. Initially, I was like, oh man, it doesn't have the same look as it did before.
You said it was missing some of the character.
Yeah, it was missing some of the character from the interface, But
yeah.
But I'm kind of I'm okay with that at this point.
Yeah, I think it's just
so
a little getting it used to. But
Yeah.
once you get used to it, I think people will.
Bit of a curve.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thank you for joining us.
See you next time.